Hi everyone, and welcome to our new Catch Up With series. Today I'm here with Dr John Piprani, who works in the Archaeology Department here in SALC. So hi John, thanks so much for being a part of this today.
Hi Johnny, thanks for asking.
So just to start, do you think you could give us a quick overview of your roles here at the university and just tell us a little bit about your areas of interest?
Yeah, I'm the Archaeology Technician, so obviously that involves dealing with a lot of the instruments and the equipment, and also two labs that I look after. But the main function really, I would say, is the fieldwork projects the Archaeology Department runs over the summer. My job's to organise the transport, equipment and the students to make sure everybody's got a fieldwork project to go to. Areas of interest, it's mainly European prehistory, and in particular stone tools and the making process, how to make them.
So you're in quite an unusual position really, because you operate as both an academic and a PS staff member. So I was just wondering what it's like for you to occupy that kind of dual role.
Yeah, my technician role is part-time, and I also teach at Chester, University of Chester. So I'm sort of aware of the curriculum at Chester and the curriculum at Manchester. Well, I actively take part in the curriculum teaching at Chester. And I find it really useful. So for example, at the moment, it's clear that academics really need good quality digital teaching material, because everything's been shifted online really quickly. And as a technician, I'm in a really good position at Manchester to start producing that kind of material. So at the moment, I'm working with somebody at MMU to use a method called photogrammetry to produce digital models of our teaching collection that can be used online. So it's useful having a foot in both camps. I think that's what I'm saying.
Recently, you've been involved in a 3D scanning project, haven't you? Going out onto the university campus and into cultural buildings in Manchester and 3D scanning them. I was just wondering if you could just give us a little bit of an introduction to that project.
Yeah, as I said, because one of my main functions is to facilitate the fieldwork. Obviously last year the fieldwork couldn't go ahead. So suddenly I became redundant in that I didn't have the tasks that I should be getting on with, I couldn't do. So both my managers, I've got a PS manager and an academic manager, lent me to another colleague, Costas, in ICP. And he had got access to a 3D camera. And what he wanted to do was produce 3D models of cultural institutions so that his students could visit them virtually online. And he needed somebody to go into those cultural institutions to do the recordings. So that, along with another colleague, Becky Parnell, that's been our function, or my function. And it's been really interesting, and we've got some amazing results. It's been it's a great project.
It's been such a long time, hasn't it, that we've been without these cultural places that we so love in Manchester. It's amazing that your work is kind of helping us to reconnect with those places. I mean, just to tap into your own experience, most staff have been working remotely for the past few months at least, but you've been on campus, you've been all over Manchester in cultural buildings. You know, what's that experience been like? Has it been perhaps quite surreal?
I've been very lucky. I've been really lucky. Working on campus, I work in Mansfield Cooper building, and that's been empty. So on occasion, I've been literally the only person in the building. So I've been able to get on with a lot of stuff in there, a lot of the practice-based stuff to do with equipment. With the Matterport project, it's almost like the opposite. You're out and about, and you're getting access to these amazing institutions, which are also more or less empty generally. You get to meet the curatorial staff, but you really get to understand the building and its function in order to then record it in a way that's meaningful for the people who are going to view it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's you know, it's a really interesting process.
Yeah, kind of a one-off experience really, and it sounds like you've been making the most of it. Zooming out to more usual times, I know you like taking your work out into the community. You've delivered archaeology workshop to public audiences, you've carried out school-based projects. I just wonder if you could introduce us to that side of your work, the public engagement bit, and maybe just explain why it's important for you to take your research beyond the university's walls.
Yeah, I was a mature student. I was interested in archaeology for a long time, and I've been fortunate enough to be able to study archaeology and now work within the field. So I sort of realised that workshops are a way of the public engaging with our topic. And so essentially I put together the kinds of workshops I would have loved to have gone to if I hadn't had this opportunity to work in the area. And Creative Manchester were good enough to provide some money to allow me to run some workshops at Stockport. And Stockport's interesting because they're struggling at the moment, and this was a way of me taking workshops to Stockport and getting people through the door. People were paying to come to the workshops, but by Creative Manchester paying Stockport to allow me to host them there, it allowed more people to come and visit Staircase House in this instance, which is a little bit hidden away and doesn't get much passing trade, but is actually a really interesting building.
Circling back to your academic work, you know, what makes you passionate about archaeology? What areas of the field particularly excite you?
I'm still really interested in stone tools. I'm much more interested now in the making process. So that's my current research really. I'm teaching myself the process, and through that process able to teach others. But once working, so shifting over from research to work, I've had to get my head around a lot of new equipment because I'm a technician. Also, a lot of new topic areas, because teaching involves teaching a range of subject areas. And I still found archaeology really interesting, and I've had the opportunity to find out a lot more about a lot more periods and topics. So I really enjoy my job, both aspects of it.
It's great to be so deep into a field and yet still be discovering new things. I guess finally, I just wanted to ask, the UK is now obviously in its third and hopefully final lockdown. What's been keeping you inspired or possibly even sane during these times?
Yeah, that's a difficult question. I think the key thing is I've made myself useful. My job disappeared when lockdown started, and that could have been bad news. But I contacted my managers and just said I'm available if any colleagues need any help, hence the Matterport project. And having done that, it's opened up some opportunities that I would never have imagined were there. So for me, I've been doing a lot of new stuff, and that happens to have been very interesting, meeting new colleagues. So I think just that by making myself available, I've had plenty of work to do. I've also done some teaching to cover colleagues at Manchester and put together a virtual fieldwork package for the summer. So although the students couldn't go on fieldwork, they could actually gain some skills that were going to contribute to the fieldwork this year. So I've been really busy. And yeah, I think by being busy, it's allowed me to stay focused and not get too caught up in the fact that we're living through a pretty intense and challenging period.